Your higher self is an elevated aspect of your consciousness that goes beyond fears, judgments, and short-term gratification. It is alignment to your truest life purpose, unconditional love, and wisdom born from deep understanding. You can strengthen this connection through mindful practices and getting to know, understand, and integrate your lower self, the shadow aspect. This is a companion to the lower self reading that I did a few days ago, so I encourage you to go check that out. And if you are here for this higher self reading, allow it to help you step forward with more self-trust and soulful alignment. Never give your power over to tarot, only use it as a catalyst for self-inquiry. You have 3 soul paths to choose from. Listen to one or all 3. Timestamps are in the description, along with links to join my inner circle or to come work with me one-on-one for deeper, more personalized support. For those who would like a close-up of the cards, let me do that right now. For Soul Path 1, we have Peach, number 38. For Soul Path 2, we have the Mockingbird with number 39. And for Soul Path 3, we have the Crossroads with number 20. When you feel ready, use your intuition to choose your pile, click the timestamp for that reading, and I will see you over there. For those who chose Peach, number 38, this message is going to be for you. Fertility and love. I feel like this is something that your higher self is encouraging you to aspire to attain, to have more of. I'm also receiving a message about fruits of your labor. So it is something that you might have to work for, only because there could be some programming from the lower self, the shadow self, that is getting in the way or interrupting that. This is about expansion. It is about a cycle, expanding some kind of cycle, interrupting some kind of cycle, expanding beyond it. And this moment that you might find yourself in, while you might feel like you are struggling, is the fertile ground to create that, to develop that, to strengthen that. Understanding that this is a process and not a destination. So let's hop straight into the tarot today. What does your higher self want to say to you? For Soul Path 1, messages from your higher self. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like this is an acknowledgement of some stagnancy you might be feeling right now. But also there is a strong family tie here. There's an ancestral tie here. It could also be connected to a memory. And I feel your higher self is desiring you to pause, to slow things down, and to reflect upon something. This may even be an attempt to get you to process something or to review something, to look over the details of something, maybe even change directions. But slowing down is going to be absolutely key here. 3, this is the expansion, the Empress. Part of the pattern that might be interrupting this is this idea of pushing forward to expand, to move beyond your current circumstance. You could very well be birthing something or wanting to birth something new. So there's this desire, this need, this want for more. There's definitely something here that you are yearning for. And the unconscious block that might be getting in the way, and we'll get more information from the shadow card when it comes out, is either a motherly connection or your idea about you as a mothering figure. And you don't have to be female for this. So how do you nurture the things that you desire? How are you patient in the process of moving towards your desires? How do you take care of self in this process to be fully prepared to expand? There could be a connection to a mother figure. And that could be part of that block. 8 of Wands. It's interesting that the 3 and the 8 are being reflected here in the tarot, which is what the card shows. So 8 of Wands in reverse here. The shadow card we will look at in a sec. Your higher self is asking you to pause. This is very clear. With the Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the 8 of Wands in reverse, if you are trying to force something, to push something forward, to move something forward, to see progress, that pressure, that force is going against you right now. And the reason why things haven't happened could be because of possibly the stressful state that this has caused, possibly a pressure from someone in your external world, creating that stress and pressure on you. So what would it look like if you just were for a while? That you gave yourself a day, a week, a month, whatever feels appropriate, to not push forward and do that thing beyond your responsibilities and day-to-day priorities. What would it look like for you to relax, to recover, to rejuvenate, to enjoy the company of friends, family, yourself, and to just be? There is a redirection here. Both cards that are movement cards here are in reverse. So there's a very strong message from your higher self to stop, pause, look around, connect in with, is this what I want? Is this how I want? Because the how could just be as important as the what you are trying to move towards. Are you doing it from a place of love? Love for yourself, love for others, love for the process? Or are you doing it from a place of pressure? Bottom of the deck, another Knight in reverse. So more movement. There's a lot of active energy that is being paused right now, that is being blocked. Even your shadow is saying, hey, let's stop here. Attaining whatever this is to pause, to slow down, to go back to something. I actually want to get another, because the message of your higher self is coming through so strongly here. I want to know what it wants you to pause from. Or maybe what it wants you to review, look over. Higher self for Soul Path 1. Why do you want them to pause? Right. We have the Sun of the Four and the Four of Wands. Look at the landscapes on both of these. So similar. To me, this is being in its essence. It's not, moving towards something exciting. It's not moving across the plains and the landscape and missing things along the way. This is stopping to really take in where you are, who you are in this moment. It is to reestablish some kind of foundation for yourself. Because in this doing, in this process, I feel that you have gotten lost somewhere along the way. And I don't mean you're not on the right path. I mean you, in your essence, in your fullest truth, in your expression, in your vulnerability, in your creativity. That is missing because you are so wrapped up in some kind of process and getting somewhere that there's been a disconnection from some kind of significant personal structure, foundation, feeling grounded, established. And this is somewhat of a moment to get a little lost in yourself, to get a little lost in the things that bring you pleasure and joy, to be free from the productivity for a moment, to be with people that feel like home, to be in your home, maybe not travel, if travel has been something you've been doing quite physically. To me, this is giving me such an energy of personal self-care. And that doesn't necessarily mean bubble baths and spa days, although that could be part of it. It's doing the hard thing sometimes. It's setting a healthy boundary for others, but also in this case could be for yourself to say no. When that activation comes in that says I have to go from one task to the next, how do you interrupt that cycle and say, do we need to do this right now? What can replace that thing that could maybe help make me feel more rested, to help me feel more connected to who I am, that nourishes me a little bit more, that allows me to really soak in the sweetness of life and where I have found myself. This is really giving me a feeling of having gratitude for your strength, gratitude for where you are in this moment, gratitude for where you're headed, but not quite yet on that path. Allow there to be a space between one thing and another. Also look at what is driving this. Within the fears, within the stories, the beliefs, the judgments, what is driving this pressure to move forward, to keep going, to force, to push, to see progress? That might give you an indication of where that's coming from, why it's coming through. And there could be a very valid positive intention behind it, but the execution and the process, how it's showing up in its expression, may not be so positive. And if you're interested in taking a peek at the lower self reading, which might give you further hints, I will leave a link for that in the description. And I'm going to leave it there, my dear Soul Path 1. Let me know in the comments how this reading resonated, and would love for you to subscribe to the channel so you can be part of the community here and see more readings like this. Thanks again, and I'll see you in your next reading. For those who chose the Mockingbird number 39, this message is going to be for you. Prophecies and communication. Mockingbirds have been known to mimic other sounds. So there could be somebody that is copying you or somebody that's mimicking you in some way. But communication could be a very strong focus right now. Communicating with your higher self might be really important at this time, especially if you are looking to expand beyond a current circumstance or a current way of feeling, wanting to be more expressive, wanting to communicate more, wanting to be seen. And there's a vulnerability with that. So stepping forward into your vulnerability could require you to get into a zone of discomfort. Let's get straight into your tarot now. Let's see, higher self, Ace of Wands. There's a desire to follow a new path here. There's an idea, a spark of something new. Maybe something has ended. And so you're in this moment of wanting to plant a new seed, to take something forward, to follow a new creative path, an expressive path. Something that you can devote yourself to. It says devotional, unconditional love for something, maybe someone. Knight of Swords in reverse. So there is a communication card here for you, which could be part of this shadow aspect or what is blocking you, maybe a pattern of communication, specifically in relation to how you communicate who you are and what you do with the world, if you are getting out there a little bit more, but also how you communicate with others as well in interpersonal or romantic relationships. There could be a reactivity here or a pattern of reactivity here. Maybe not being clear with your communication or having a fear of communication, sharing your truth. Maybe going around the truth to avoid some kind of vulnerability. There's also something coming through here about blocking a message or being blocked. So not being able to communicate with someone, which is the block to possibly moving on this new path. So there's a desire to start something new, to do something fresh, to be creative, to follow a new path, but there's something blocking your way when it comes to not communicating, not being clear in your communication, not being able to communicate with somebody else. Five of Swords in reverse, another air card. And then we'll look at bottom of the deck to get more clarifiers on this block, which may have something to do with your shadow. This could be a lot of internal communication is what I'm picking up on. This could be the inner critic, the inner dialogue going on when you decide, hey, I want to do that thing. I want to go there. I want to start a business. I want to start creating or painting or creating music, whatever this path might be, this passionate path that you want to devote yourself to. There's something about communication, something about words, thoughts that stop you. So this could be something that you have internalized in terms of communicating with others. Somebody told you that you weren't good enough. Somebody told you something, and now you've integrated and personalized that belief. And maybe you were around a lot of people who criticized you. So that is your default whenever something exciting or happy or joyful comes into your life, or you have a thought about something very optimistic, this inner critic, this inner dialogue, or possibly other people shut it down. So the block is how you talk yourself out of it. And what needs to change in order for you to run with this, with not allowing that inner critic, that inner dialogue to get in the way. Now, it might be protecting you from something. So use your discernment there as to if it's actually protecting you from something or someone that is unhealthy or that is dangerous in some way. But if not, and it's just this block your higher self is asking you to break, then just bring awareness to that for the time being. Don't feel you need to change it in a day. But bring awareness to what happens when you think about this new thing, this new relationship, this new career path, this new business, this new creative project. And what are the things that come up, the choices that you do or don't make, the thoughts that come up, that bubble up, and the voice that comes in really loudly and says, this is not for us. You're not good enough for this. You don't know enough. Whatever the voice says, I want you to write it down, and I want you to start picking apart what this inner critic says. And if this is resonating with you, the month of May was all about the inner critic and the dialogue, the inner dialogue, and how that can show up in our life and keep us small, keep us stuck, even though it might have good intentions. But I feel overcoming this is going to be really helpful for you to move forward. So for now, just pay attention to how this inner critic shows up, when it shows up, why it shows up, and if there's any absolute truths in it. I want you to challenge it. Three of Swords, more air energy, in reverse. So I think part of this inner critic's job is to protect you from being hurt again, protect you from pain, protecting you from having your heart broken, of being vulnerable, and showing people what's truly on your heart. So the communication that you are receiving from this inner critic is a protective one, possibly because of certain relationships that you've had in your life. But are you going to let it stop you from reaching that higher expression, of stepping towards that higher self? Because whether we enter relationships or not, there still will be pain that we have to overcome. There is still going to be challenge that we have to overcome. We cannot armor ourselves through life. Because what are we not learning in that process? What are we suppressing in that process? And what are the opportunities we are missing because of that? I want to know what this Ace of Wands is all about, because this is a message from your higher self. And your higher self seems to be showing you your lower self. So in order to access this higher self, you have to understand this lower self a bit more. And if you're interested in a lower self reading specifically, I will leave a link in the description for one that I did just a few days ago. So what is this Ace of Wands? What is this Ace of Wands? We have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse and the Seven of Swords in reverse. So more air energy. This is about your truth. This is about authenticity. This is about your truest, highest self, your highest expression, your truest words. And that requires vulnerability. That requires a level of bravery. And the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, I do think this has to do with removing yourself from the comforts, the safety, the security that certain things have brought you up until this point. This could be showing up in a job for you and you want to start building your own business. So it's moving away from that security of that 9 to 5, of that paycheck every 2 weeks or every month, to explore something new. And there might be, a transition period in that. This isn't about jumping ship, but bridging that gap. This also could be moving away from family values, the values that you have inherited and it just isn't quite for you. You want something that's more soulful, that is more expressive in some way. You don't want to have the same structures, the same comforts, the same beliefs. So there's a misalignment here, but also a realignment to what is true for you. Your version of success, stability, security, comfort may look completely different in the higher self form than it does right now. And you might already be feeling that, which is maybe why you're here and you're showing up for this higher self reading, because you're ready to step forward. So this is uncovering the truth, your highest truth, and stepping towards that a little bit more, challenging the old truth. I'm going to leave it here, my dear Soul Path 2. Let me know in the comments how this reading resonated, and would love for you to subscribe to the channel so you can be part of the community here and see more readings like this. Thanks again, and I'll see you in your next reading. For those who chose the crossroads, number 20, this message is going to be for you. Road opener and decisions. This is a pretty major card, I would say, and it's major because it is tied to a major arcana card in the tarot. Number 20 is the Judgment card. It is the card where we rise above our challenges into something brand new. We have been transformed through that process, and we become a higher version of ourselves because we've grown so much. We've gained so much in that process, as difficult as it may be or has been. This is Phoenix Rising energy. It's Plutonian. It is bringing things from underneath up to the surface so that it can be processed and dealt with finally, once and for all. And in this moment, you might be at this point of needing to decide what's next and not knowing what's next. Maybe there are multiple options in front of you and some really difficult options, difficult choices. But I feel that some of the blocks that you have dealt with have been removed. And so while these decisions and crossroads may be difficult, it means that something new is now available because these choices have presented themselves. And it is because of the internal work that you've done. It is because of the healing. So while it may feel terrible and uncomfortable, it is actually a sign that you are stepping forward into a higher expression, higher version of yourself. It's somewhat of a reward for having to go through something really difficult. But you don't really know what's on the other side of these decisions, so that's the tough part. So, highest self for Soul Path 3, stepping forward to offer messages for them today. 7 of Swords. This feels like you're escaping something in the process of moving towards something. There's a plan and a strategy. There's fast movement, swift movement. And maybe that is required for your upcoming decision. And what's interesting is I'm just picking up the terrain that they're moving across. It's very bleak. I mean, there's a few flowers there, but there's not much there. So there's almost this feeling of, I wouldn't say panic, but this transition. And allowing that to be part of your process as well. Integrating that into your plan. Not feeling like you have to rush to some kind of destination. And also, I'm getting, since it is the 7 of Swords, we do have to talk about the truth of something. it's almost as if you are getting in touch with that truth, that you can't escape the truth anymore, which is maybe why you're at this crossroads. Also, don't avoid the truth. That is part of a message that I'm getting as well. Don't try to escape the truth, because it will always find you. The Hierophant. There's the wisdom that I was picking up on. And that might be the unconscious block right now, actually, is the wisdom that you're learning from this really uncomfortable process. Not the things that you can stick to, not the patterns, not the routines, not the traditions that maybe have given you a sense of rootedness and stability. For some reason, I'm getting that no longer works. So this is a discovery of figuring out what is going to work in the future, because something stopped working for you. And maybe you feel a little dishonest with this. This could be a breaking away of a marriage. This could be a breaking away of a family tradition or a routine that you've been really rooted in for a really long time. And that could be the block to accessing your higher self, is of being stuck in patterns, behaviors, ideas that have run their course. So there's an opening up of a new truth here, and being open to that new truth is going to be part of that higher self-expression, moving towards that higher self. And that's what I feel this is. This is a test of truth here. Sevens are usually trials that we endure and experience to really test our strength, test our patience, test our desires. Is this really what you want? But this is a test of truth, a test of faith. The Hanged Man. Yeah. And I say it like that because there's something very deep, 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 deep down in the depths and the darkness of these waters, somewhat of a hidden treasure. And I feel that is where true enlightenment, or your higher self, is directing you to, is the depths of what you're experiencing, so that you can see things from a new light, be awakened by it, have a better understanding of it. But it's not comfortable, because it may not feel like progress. It may not feel like you're learning anything. It may just feel like you're uncomfortable and you're in this indecision and you're not clear and you have more questions than answers. Allow that to be okay. That is the process to inhabit, not something that needs fixing or changing. And this is the work that I do with my clients through personalized tarot reading and coaching, moving them through uncertainty. Being there with them in that process, helping them uncover answers and new wisdom that they've always carried, that they didn't know was there. And there's so much noise in our life that it's hard to see sometimes. So it's getting into the depths of our soul to find that. And that is what this Hanged Man to me is representing. And you have two majors here. If you want to include this as a third, that's a third. So 3 out of the 4 cards are majors. I feel that this is a major thing. And right now, this is just about you discovering what's true for you, what's outdated. What are some of the things that feel outdated? Some of the beliefs, the thoughts, all of the things that you've stuck to. What needs to change? Bottom of the deck is the 6 of Wands in reverse. I feel your shadow self is really uncomfortable with not getting external confirmation, validation, affirmation about this thing, whatever you're moving through. And I don't feel that you're going to get that clarification or confirmation from anything outside of you. You have to do that for yourself and really be your biggest cheerleader here. Because those things that you may have relied on for success, for that validation, have seemingly fallen away, according to what I'm seeing and feeling in the cards. So while this may not seem like success, it is actually a reconnection to your higher self, to what feels soulful to you, to what feels successful for you. And that is going to be more sustainable and more nourishing for you in the future because it is aligned. So I want to know what this enlightenment is all about. What this higher self is moving you towards. The enlightenment. I'm going to get one more because all the other readings got two. Thank you. Page of Wands in reverse and the Four of Swords in reverse. It's showing you where you have been misaligned. And maybe you need to start again in some regard because you followed a path that wasn't yours for so long. You internalized other people's desires, obligations, or expectations of you, and now you're getting in touch with what is it that I want to create for my life? What are the seeds that I want to plant? And the Four of Swords is in reverse is such a doing energy. It's like I've wanted to pause and take a break and rest and recover and relax and just be. And I feel like that hasn't happened because of some kind of hustle, some kind of grind, some kind of burnout, whatever has kind of prompted this crossroads, this judgment energy, this Phoenix rising energy. This is what you're rising towards. I don't feel these are active yet because you're still working through this process. Enlightenment has to happen first before these can be fully accessible. So I feel whatever this is, it's going to be a little more heart-led, soul-led, creative, inspiring, exciting, adventurous. But it's also going to give you more time to pause and enjoy life, to rest, and not be so stuck on it has to be this way. But there's a little bit of spontaneity, a little more freedom in this higher self-expression. And I feel that this is the definition of success for you. That's something to clarify and confirm for yourself, though, and not let the tarot cards determine for you. But I'm going to leave it here, my dear Soul Path 3. Do let me know in the comments how this resonated for you, and would love for you to subscribe to the channel so you can be a part of the community here and see more readings like this. Thanks again, and I'll see you in your next reading.